Oh, look at this hardware, man. NDA-ADO. Got the Latin American camera. Showing it for the camera.
They got some trainers say, and some fighters say, "Well, I don't watch videos of the guy fighting. I let the coach watch it." This, wait, man.
Guys, one thing we know for sure about Wilder, he hit you clean. Right. And this woman whooped the whole world twice. The whole world.
That last part always gets me excited when Coach gets so passionate about Clarissa Jones.
What the whole world twice? I love it. Yes.
What's going on, YouTube? Happy Saturday morning. It is another episode of Soapboxing Podcast. It's your boy Fresh. And we got Coach Derek. You on location where in Pasadena? You reporting live? What's going on out there?
Yeah, man, I got a little business to handle. I had to come out here anyway, but man, this ain't around the corner, bro.
No,
I'm a good little ride.
Yeah. You could listen to a whole show.
Absolutely.
Well, this morning we got Christina Lopez from In the Ring with Christine. Wayne, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on. So what you got going on, man? How you doing?
I am doing well. I am in Chula Vista, California with Team USA. We have a training camp here. It's been great. It's a short one. It's a 2-week camp. And then we'll head out on Monday and we'll have a long vacation, about 3 weeks, because then we're going to be hitting it for a few months as normal. So
nice.
We've got some things coming up. We have to get qualified for the Olympics.
So we have you up early. You out in the West Coast. You about it's 9:30 up there, huh?
It's 8:30, but you know what? It's okay because I have a session at 9:30, so it's perfect.
Nice. All right. Well, again, Christine, thank you for coming on the show, man. I seen your intro the other day and I absolutely loved it because you're like, I've done it all in the boxing. Coach, train, fight, manage. I mean, how did your story begin?
It's crazy. It's not normal. From the age of 6 years old, I was in love with boxing. My cousin was a world champion, Jesse Benavides. And then on my mother's side, my grandfather was a professional boxer. I watched Rocky, the first one, and I was just like, yes, But I was the only girl, and Mom wanted me in ballet and tap and gymnastics. And nothing against that, but it wasn't for me. And then, time went by, and I grew up, and I was a teen mom, pregnant at 18. And I was pregnant from 18 to 28, literally. I have 10 biological children and one stepson. So I didn't get started until I was 29.
Oh, wow.
And it's been... I'm going to age myself, but it's been, 20 something years. And, that I've been doing this, getting in the gym with my kids, training, being taught to train, having to work cuts because there was nobody else. Everything was I was just kind of thrown into everything and I love it. Now I own my own gym and now I'm here and it's all good.
Nice. Well, for having 10 kids and being in the boxing world, I mean, you look absolutely stunning. I thought you were like 28, 29. So.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the secret. Kids in boxing will keep you young.
Yes.
Hey, I don't meet too many people that got me beat in the kid department.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you got me by 2.
You better catch up.
Yeah.
You still have time.
Man, shit. Not the kid. Not the mama took care of that the last one.
Right.
But
right.
yeah. Man, that's busy. That's busy right there. And then you say you started getting involved with boxing at 29?
I was 29. Yes. I was 29. I'm 50 years old. I have 10 grandchildren. And now
Wow.
the second part of my life, I'm getting to live every dream that I've had. And it's such a blessing.
I like that, man. You ain't wasting it. Yeah. Ain't got time to kick your heels up. You got work to do.
Absolutely.
That are you in Colorado or what? Is that where you live?
No,
Where you live?
I actually live in Dallas. So myself and the
Uh-huh.
other coaches, we come from all different parts of the United States, except of course Billy Walsh. He's there. He's our head coach. He's there in Colorado. Right now, the training center is closed because of COVID. So we have to go to different locations. And here in California, this used to belong to it was part of the Olympic Training Center, but California bought it, and they still have athletes here training, but it's not part of the Olympic Training Center. So we get to come and do our thing, and we just go different places, to get our training in.
I know I think I first became aware of you uh you know talking about Q and posting about Q.
Yes, I'm a
And
big
I asked
fan.
I asked I asked Jeff one day, I said, man, who is this lady, man, Christine, bro? I said, she's involved in everything, and he gave you high marks. And he
Oh,
said, he said, man, she's doing everything, coaching and the media, the everything. So then I started following everything. I said, man, she's everywhere. And then I see you going to camps and stuff, with the guys for with the team. I said, man, what she gonna do? And how you do all that, man? I remember when Jeff like 3 years ago was trying to get me to uh you know apply to be a nat. I said, Jeff, man, I don't like amateur boxing, man. I hate this shit. And, and he was like, nah, man, we need some trainers, man. But there was no way I was gonna be able to do it, with
yeah.
my job and my family here in Houston. But I'll be watching from afar, man, and you sticking and moving everywhere, man. That's
Oh,
impressive. That's
I
impressive.
appreciate it. I love it. I'm living a dream. I love Jeff, by the way. He's so funny that guy keeps us in stitches. He didn't come this camp. He wanted to take a little break. He had to kill some deer. I'm sure you saw his
Yeah.
pictures of deer and stuff. So, but he'll be on the next camp and traveling with us. It's so funny because people they'll see the pictures and everything, and it's like, oh, it's so glamorous, so fun. And about 10% of it is, and that's the pictures. It's a sacrificial life, like you said. If you have another job or whatever, family. I've missed birthdays, funerals, weddings, but I'm doing what I love.
Right.
You know,
If it's a passion, it's a passion. Not many in boxing see any glamour or any benefit other than being involved in what you love. But go ahead, man. What you about to say?
no, I was just going to ask you, being involved in boxing, all these years, when was it that you thought about the media part of it? Because I see the stuff that you post, the interviews, the video content is absolutely great. How did you start that, and why?
This is a funny story. So I'm really a shy person. I really am. I didn't ever like to be in the spotlight. I didn't
Me
want to
too.
be in the forefront of anything. I always pushed my husband there, but it was like, no, I always somehow evolved up front. But I guess about 3 years ago, a friend of mine, she said, hey, I want to do media and I would love for you to do it with me. We can, we got on a radio show. We started doing, I really started liking it. And then we ended up parting ways, and I just kept it going. It's so fun because I love talking to the fighters. I love talking to coaches. I love talking to everybody in boxing. And because I know a little bit, I kind of ask a little bit of the different questions. And it's fun. I love traveling for fights. I'm going to try to go to Canelo, I'm going to try to go to Ryan.
I see that you be going to those fights.
Yes.
What do you like better, being interviewed or doing the interviewing?
You know what? I love it both. The funny thing is that sometimes I feel like when I'm being interviewed, I start to kind of move my chair. Like if I'm going to interview you, I'm like, oh, so what do you think about? And I'm just like, okay, hold on. I'm going to be an interviewer. I like it both. I love talking about boxing, you know, and especially people that know what they're talking about. So both is fabulous.
Perfect. Well, Derek usually knows what he's talking about when it comes to boxing.
I think so.
Hey, but man to say, hell, about 2 years now, I guess, or a little longer than that. He said, Coach, we gonna do it. You listen to podcasts? I said, yeah, man, I listen to all kind of podcasts, man. That's my thing. I got on it, several years ago. He said, all right, bro, we need to do a boxing podcast. And I said, God damn, I thought of every part of podcast except a boxing podcast. Why the hell didn't I think of a boxing podcast?
Right?
He started laughing. And we said, but you know what? It's so, I get on my wife's nerves so much because it's 24 hours boxing. So this just added more boxing. So she like, here we go with this shit. But these things record themselves. And like you said, when you're passionate about something, you're talking about something, because guess what? We would all be talking about it anyway, whether the phone's recording you or not. You'll still be talking about it. So I enjoy the hell out of it, and it has allowed me to talk to people and meet people and stuff that I wouldn't have except at fight somewhere, But yeah, I enjoy the hell out of it. And why the hell I didn't even, man, I told him when he said that, I said, man, I thought about a political podcast. I thought about this kind of podcast. I never in a million years thought about boxing.
Right.
Which is insane. But I didn't even think about it. But we've been doing it not consistently and doing but we don't know we don't know what we're doing. We consistently don't know what we're doing. So by the time something gonna work, we constantly doing it. So I enjoy it, man, and enjoy watching the other people, like, watching your stuff and hell, I be trying to learn. The thing about it's like with boxing, I tell the guys quick, I say, look, bro, I think the worstest thing a boxing coach could do is say, I know the answers to everything, or I'm only gonna stick to my answers. I said, because here's where I come from. I come from a place, regardless to boxing history or my family and all that type of stuff. My number one main concern is my fighter being successful. Mm-hmm. And I don't give a shit if something looks strange or whatever. If I'm paying attention and it's working and it's helping, we gonna do it. That's just what it is. Now experience teaches me that, a whole bunch of shit I don't gotta try. I look and say that's silly. But stuff that works and I see and I learn, man, I always keep an open mind and ask people. Me and Jeff, that's how we talk is boxing. Mm-hmm. In private. Like, man, what you doing with this? Man, I should have did this. We need to do that. So I enjoy that process and understanding that a trainer needs to evolve constantly, because each individual brings a whole different set of skills or lack thereof.
Yes.
Or lack thereof. So when we doing this podcast, I'm saying let me watch the ones I enjoy and see what they doing right, and then and I ain't afraid. I ain't shy. I ask anybody anything. Hey, how you do that shit? Because I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, right.
I ain't
about your graphics. I was like, how'd you
right. Stuff like that. And I'm all thumbs, but we getting it done. So I'm enjoying the ride, and you're one of the ones I wanted to reach out to get on the show, man. Especially how involved you are with the USA Boxing, the young champions, and all the people you support, and hell, my kids and everybody else. I say, man, we need to get Christine on this thing, man.
I thank you. It's my pleasure. It really is. It's so funny that what you're talking about with the boxing and the different styles. And yeah, there's a basic way of boxing, but then everybody has their talents and their weaknesses. I was just talking about that with Jenny Fuchs, and we were talking. And speaking of that, Q, he didn't have the orthodox amateur style that's like textbook, but nobody could beat him. I loved that kid. I still do.
That's because I didn't know it. My coaching didn't come. My coaching didn't come from amateur boxing, right?
Yeah.
We fought as kids, and then I was done with fighting as a kid, and a buddy of mine that turned pro, he actually reached out and said, "Bro, I need your help in the gym, man." And so I learned to develop professional fighters, regardless of how. And so the first day walking the gym, I said, "Son, the reason why I'm gonna know what to do with you is because, believe it or not, I was built just like you as a
Uh-huh.
kid." I
Mhm.
said, and secondly, I know exactly your advantages, but more importantly, I know your hindrances and how to
Yeah.
hide them and sharpen them.
Yes,
So
thank you. You hide them. Thank you.
right,
Exactly.
and I never go in fights going, you know, what's this amateur style? What they looking? No. We gonna win. And by the
And
time
he
you turn
did.
professional, watch what we do. And that's and he's taught me things. I was silly like you need to start boxing so young and all that. Man, that dude completely changed my mind about that.
Yeah.
Because now when a 15, 17, hell, 20-year-old, he came to me when he was 21, I think, just made 21.
Yeah.
And now he's 30 and look at the things he's done and
Mhm.
hopefully will do. So he's
He
changed
will.
my mind about things, but I'm not closed minded to that. I'm saying if a kid comes into Chateau Fresh, I say when the kid comes into the gym and he say, "Man, I want to be a fighter," I'm much more apt to believe him if he's 20 because he
Right.
ain't got no reason to be here. His mom and
Right.
daddy ain't brought him up here. So if he could make the paces and earn it, we might could do something with him. So it's just all part of that evolution, man. And when I hear fight trainers, some of them I know, and they say, well, that ain't how I do it, man. So if he don't fit me, it just ain't gonna work. I said, well, that's kind of like admitting your limitations as a trainer. That's
Thank you.
saying, that's
Yes.
saying, nah, if it takes this to win, well, I can't do it. So I need somebody else, and I don't believe in that, man. I
We
don't
had a
believe in.
we had a 67-year-old walking through the gym. Coach is like, let him jump rope for 12 rounds. So he passed out.
Yeah, put him on that jump rope. Shit, Fresh gave him out the mouth. He was all right.
I want to see the video.
Instagram, we are live with Christine Lopez from In the Ring with Christine. Make sure you go up to the link and subscribe to our YouTube page, Christine. Listen, man, we've been talking about how busy a day in the life is with everything that you got going on, man. But what does it really entail? Like, what time do you get up in the morning? What time are you, finally laying your head on the pillow? What all goes on in your day?
When I'm in camp, we have a pretty strict schedule. We're up in the morning. We have weigh-ins at 7 a.m. And then the kids will eat. And then about an hour and a half later, we start our first session. Or it's either boxing or conditioning. We switch it up a little bit. They'll have their lunch, and then we'll have either the conditioning or the boxing, whatever we didn't do earlier. The sessions are about anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on what we're doing. If we're sparring, it can go on. But usually when I'm in camp, I do go to bed fairly early. I say 10, but then I also have to keep up with, my page and what's going on in boxing. Yeah. So I'll, get on the internet and see who's fighting and not, because you kind of lose connection with the outside world. And especially when you go overseas and the hours are different. So I always have to see, oh my gosh, who's fighting, what's going on. And I really try to keep up with that. It's a busy time. When I get home, it's a little bit more relaxed. I do own a gym. We have 2 sessions, a morning session and an evening session. It's at 9 in the morning. So it's not too early. So I'll get my stuff done in the morning, go to the gym, come home, do my wifely, motherly things around the house, and then go back to the gym. It's constant. Before COVID, I was also traveling to cover fights. But I love it. And I have a very supportive husband. I mean, he knows I'm crazy. And he's okay with it,
What's his role in this dynamic duel?
Well, he has people would say, he's got the real job. No, he holds it down at home, and he's also a coach. So we owned the gym together. In 2007, I left the gym we were at for many years, and I was like, we're opening our own gym. He's like, yeah, okay, sure. And I mean, I was on it. When I want to do something, I'm just like, we're doing it. And, many years later, we still got it going. It's Texas
The
Select
rest is
Boxing
history.
Club, and it's fun.
Now, tell us about the club. Tell the viewers, because we do have a lot of Texas-based viewers.
Okay.
The name of the gym is, it's in Dallas, right? What part of Dallas?
It's actually in Garland, which is
Okay.
5 minutes from Dallas. It's Texas Select Boxing Club. It's a nonprofit. We ask for a $50 donation from boxers to come and train there. If they don't have it, they still can come. We came from a gym where if you had tattoos, or if you weren't in high school or weren't doing something with your life, you weren't allowed there. And
Really?
I didn't like that. Yeah, I didn't like it. We've taken in all walks of life. I don't care. We've had all walks of life, and there's no judgment. You come in there, you want to box, we got you, And over the years, we've trained many, many boxers, and now we're training their children, but they never forget. They never forget that we didn't slam the door in their face. We accepted them. We're all different, but the thing that bonds us is the love of boxing. It's a big family, So,
And do you have coaches? It's you and your husband, or do you have other coaches there that support y'all?
Finally, since 2007, we have some other coaches. A kid that we trained when he was a kid, Robert. Now he's married with children. He came back to volunteer, and it's all volunteer. Nice. We have another coach that came from New York, Coach Abdullah. And then we have some other coaches that drop in every now and then, and help that used to box with us. It's great, it really is. And for them to want to come back and not get paid and just volunteer their time, it says a lot about them.
Nice. That's beautiful. Well, that's a great story. Let's talk about boxing, man. Being from Dallas, you had your hometown guy fighting this past Saturday.
I was very proud of him.
Now, did you have any inside situation, any inside intelligence on where he was health-wise? Did you feel confident going into the fight, or were you nervous?
I did. I did feel confident. Of course, being a mom, I was a little nervous just because I heard everything was good and he looks good. And one of my sons sees him out a lot. Doing his promotional stuff. And he's like, no, he's good, Mom. I've talked to him. He's good. And so I was, like I said, as a mom, nervous, but as a boxing fan, super excited. And I was so happy to see his victory, I was proud of him. A lot of people were saying that, he was fighting, Garcia, who was washed up and nobody. And I'm just like, he's dangerous. He's still dangerous, guys.
Yeah, it was a very live fight, and Danny knows how to fight southpaws. And if he would have caught him with a hook, I was impressed. I was one of the people that kept saying this is a real fight. It's a live fight. I'll admit, I told Coach, if Earl's not 100%, he'll get knocked out in the 6th round. He's gonna get caught, but he looked great. Coach, what were your thoughts? You were one that was kind of nervous as well, along with the rest of us.
Yeah, it seemed like that was the minority, and I didn't see how it could possibly be. I was scared to death.
Yeah.
I said I don't see how a kid could have that sort of head trauma that comes with a accident like that. And 12 months later, or whatever, 13 months later, he's about to get hit in the head by elite welterweight. And I didn't really see this ain't no fight people that much. I guess I missed that. But if Danny Garcia ain't no fight, well, who's a fight? That's a top fighter. And I knew going in, Garcia knows how to fight them left-handed fighters. And his back's against the wall. He lost to Porter and Thurman some pretty even fights. You know, in other words, he lost the fights on what he chose. You know, game plan, high. You know, not pressing the gas, and not. I said this kid's gonna come forward on Earl and try to fight him, and he did. He just seen early that you know you got to pay for that. So I was nervous. You know, up to the 4th round, I had 2-2, and then after that, Earl took over, and I was like, oh shit, he's fine. I was worried for nothing.
Yeah.
Now, in hindsight, you know, a lot of people were saying, nah, coach, he wouldn't be in there if he was hurt. His trainer would, and I know Derek and all of them. I said I agree with that, but that doesn't mean he can't be wrong. You know what I'm saying? He could say I thought he was all right. So I was just, I guess, just the trainer in me had me paranoid about that kid, and he ate a few in the first couple of rounds and ate him and kept coming. I said, well, shit, he's fine. Now, I heard some criticisms of his performance, which is insane to me because he looked like $1 million and no problem. He didn't get frustrated. He didn't get nothing. He beat Danny up, man. I ain't seen Danny beat up before. I ain't seen him beat up. He got beat up that night.
That's just because he's light skinned. Stop tripping.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
That's just because he's light skinned. Stop tripping.
Yeah, but yeah, that was. But you know, and Danny, I hate to say it, you know, when this third loss right here to Earl, who regardless of who you think is the best between him and Bud, Earl by far got the best resume. So he's the king of the castle, and the thing is, man, you been down and you couldn't do it with him. You know what, son? Get your last 3-4 big ones that you can get. Man, you got more money, you know, from Instagram. Look like you got the big house, the big car, the big everything. Right. So, you know, get your few more paydays you can, bro, and hang it up, because where I thought he didn't pull the trigger with Thurman and Sean when he should have, I think he couldn't in this one. And that's a big difference. It's a big difference between, so, and you got all your brain, all your sense, take it on home. Yeah, like Mikey. You know, Mikey seen what was there, but Mikey said, shit, I need to make it out of this fight. So, you know, which was impressive as hell to me, because I'm a huge Mikey fan. Yeah. But, you know, those guys think you see Earl as a slow starter. You see maybe what you think is holes in the armor, but when that boy's in there beating your ass, it don't seem so obvious no more. That's what I see. Right. And you know, I only been around him once at one of the fights, and I stand 6'1", I'm about 265 fat, and that's and he was in between fights. That's a big boy, man. You know, I was looking at him like, shit. Yeah, he is. This dude is 5'10"-ish, 180 pounds, man. This is a big ass dude.
Absolutely.
But yeah, bro. So he's a problem, man. Yeah. And I'm glad that he shook back and performed the way he did, man. It was tremendous. And it just,
you were saying, and you're very right, that a trainer, you know, especially their relationship, they really care about each other, wouldn't put him in. But you know, a warrior wants to fight, and they're gonna say, no, I'm good, I feel good. You know, I don't want to say they're gonna lie. They're just not gonna tell you the whole truth.
Well, we've had
when it's millions of dollars. When it's millions of dollars, you lie.
Right. We've had fighters come on the show saying they fought with broke hands, broke backs, broke shoulders, but flipping a Ferrari, or it was a Ferrari, right, or a Lamborghini, one of the two. It takes the cake. Yeah, that goes.
Look at, man.
The award goes to Earl Spence on
absolutely
fighting on toughness.
Let's say his brain ain't bleeding now, but we damaged, right? And Earl tells Derek, yeah, it's messed up. I made a tremendous mistake or whatever. So I got to get this last one. Nah, don't give me a pudding pop. Give me a real one that I can make some money on. And that's just business. We gonna tell everybody we fine. Oh man, he's strong. Right. He's each. So that was in my mind too. Like, is this a cash out? Because why would this guy be fighting? You know,
Oh my
all those
gosh,
questions.
yes. My
But
husband and I talked
but
about that in the privacy of our home. Yes.
right. I didn't make that public either. I'm like, I'm hoping this kid ain't having to cash out by fighting a dangerous fight.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, you know, I was worried for nothing, and the kid knew he knew he was straight, and he beat that boy up. So I was proud. And being a Texas implant myself the last 20 years, you know, I'm Texas like a mug. I'm a funny talking Texan. That's all. So we gonna get it done, man. I enjoyed the shit out of that fight.
Talking about the numbers on the. Go ahead, Christine.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say the thing that I was impressed with too is his humility. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter. He said, "You know what? Now I'm going to get a dietitian. I'm going to get a strength and conditioning coach."
Yeah.
I was impressed with that. You know, it shows his human side.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I kind of got confused with that too. I mean, it showed that was my initial. Oh man, look at this kid. But then I was like, well, shit, was he more tired than what I seen? Because he didn't look like he was.
He can hide
He
it.
didn't look. Yeah, man, I didn't see nothing where it would make me go, man, let me go get a strength condition. Listen, when Quentin went up there to Colorado doing all that, the weights and shit like that I'm against like a motherfucker, and he knew that, and so when he's coming back, he said, nah, coach, I'm not bench pressing this shit. This is what we doing for the legs and all this here. I said, well, shit, it's two things. If it's working, great.
Right.
If you believe it's working, even better. Let's go. So that's another thing where I say to myself, you know, if these boys need that extra assurance, you know, that a strength and conditioning trainer, and I'm not shitting on strength and conditioning trainers at all. I'm saying they play a pivotal role if they're good, because you play a pivotal role if the fighter believes you making a difference. It's a huge difference.
It's
right.
But not
as
only
well as physical.
But not only that, right? So you might be thinking strength and conditioning in one perspective, and what it really is something totally different, right? Because you know, what's this guy, and I forget his name, the quarterback from the Seahawks. Is it Wilson or Russell Wilson? Whoever he is, he makes 180 million, whatever it is, and he came out the other day and says he spends 12 million a year in physical therapy, strength and conditioning, whether it's masseuses, whether it's the stretching people, whether it's the chirotherapy, all that stuff. So if you're it's like you running your car and not changing the oil, not changing the tires, you gotta take care of your body. You gotta make
spectrum. Strength and conditioning is a very broad.
Right. So it's like saying you just can't say, well, I'm just gonna run it till the oil's out or run it till I run out of gas. Nah, you gotta put that extra into it. You gotta invest. You gotta protect your investment.
Right. And I understand the old school mentality. And I understand that because, before of course, obviously my amateurs and my pros, we don't have strength and conditioning coaches. We can't afford them. Right. But, and the old school stuff, it works too. But like you said, coach, it's a mental thing, and that's boxing. If you believe it, then it's going to work. If you don't,
well, it makes you, if that's what I'm saying, I don't want to make the goods. Let me rebut this first before I forget. This is boxing, man. So every motherfucker with a title says he can do shit. This is not our sport is not governed at all. So Russell Wilson has got $180 million investment from a business in him. And guess what? There's proven strength and conditioning trainers. There's proven shits they do that the team will say, hey, this is the guy we get the results from. Whereas boxing, in comes some fucking clown who's a fan of boxing, tells you he used to box, puts a towel on, and tells your kid, I'm a strength and conditioning trainer, and he puts a fucking umbrella on his back and tells him run and shit. Now, here's my thing. But here's my thing, seriously. And it's the only way I do it, and all my fighters know. Look here, man. If you take part in these strength and conditioning people, or any shit, right? And you go down there and shit the bed because you're overtrained, when I'm telling you you're overtrained and I see it, or worse than that, fail some drug tests and shit because this dude's giving you something, and it don't gotta be steroids, just anything that's not, that's banned. I'm gonna fuck him up. I'm gonna attack. I'm gonna literally violate this person, and I'm gonna be mad at you because this is my reputation. You go down there and you fail a test.
Yeah.
Well, guess what now? Yeah, you as a fighter failed the test, but guess what? Collinsworth boxing is some cheaters. So my thing is, I just want our fight like Quentin chose my man Evans Tobler, but he got him. All right, but he got him the right way. He's looking at Jenny, he's looking at Regis, he's looking at them, and I got Regis' son at the gym we training, and so we see them every day. So, hey man, Regis, tell me about this Evans. Man, coach, this guy, such and such, all right, I'm safe.
Yeah,
see my kid over there. He's getting, this guy got a world champion and he got all these elite fighters. Right. And the first time me and Evans hook up, he said, Coach, I don't teach a motherfucking shit about boxing. Oh, I know better than that. I said, yeah. Right. He said, but conditioning, and he ran down his history with sports and track and field and football and stuff. So I was like, this is great. But there's too many people walk into a boxing gym and pretend that they strength and conditioning coaches, because if they say they boxing coaches and it's a real boxing coach right there, he's gonna get figured out real fast.
Real in a conversation,
Right.
And what you said about Evans is so true. I love him. I don't have a problem as long as everybody stays in their lane. You do the strength and conditioning, we do the boxing, you do the nutrition. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their role. And as long as people stay in their lane, we're good. It can be a wonderful marriage,
There's no problems, right? Everybody got a job to do.
Absolutely.
Hey, listen, I'm a big steak guy, right? And so the finest piece of steak is the Japanese Kobe. I love it. And you know what they do with those cows when they're out pasturing? They give them massages. They got classical music playing on in the background. That's their strength and conditioning. So I think there's like you said, Christine, there's if you stay in your lane, but then two, you got to make sure that you really know what the hell you're talking about and what you're doing. Because I do agree with what Coach said. It's not there's no regulation within our sport, and so someone just coming in saying there's a strength and conditioning guy, well.
Perfect example. And I know you smirk because I smirk too when Christine said if they believe it, but it's a big difference of it. It's a big difference of a fighter saying, I'm physically stronger. I feel it, I'm doing it. So that gives me an edge. Right. Then some dumb motherfucker telling Deontay Wilder he believes he can beat Fury even though he can't fight. That's a whole different kind of belief. That ain't the same shit. When I listen to this nonsense, some of these guys are being led around. I'm like, listen, man, you know what's scary? The fucking truth. When I'm sitting there looking and I see two guys, right? And or even in some of our weigh-ins and shit, right? If I tell a fighter, the other fighter, you can't win, bro. You're not gonna win. I'm not gonna try to fucking convince you of that. You're not good enough. That's why you're gonna get beat. You're fucked up. You shouldn't have fight him. You fucked up.
Yeah.
The fighter knows, damn. Now if he got any kind of doubt, he's like, shit, man, maybe we shouldn't have took it. Whereas if you're bluffing and I'm saying, oh, we bad, we two-time national champ, boy, I'm selling some shit. It's two different things, man. Absolutely. Than a guy, right? That's it's a thin line. It's a thin line between bullshit and something that's making something that's valuable, you know.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
you gotta, some things only experience is gonna teach you. You know what I'm saying? You can't fake that.
Yes. So true.
I wanted to circle back around real quick on the numbers on the Spence Garcia fight. They generated over 250,000 buys at $75. 18, almost $19 million.
Maybe,
That's some good
maybe.
numbers.
I heard them numbers is false.
Is it?
I heard from some people that them numbers is blowed up. It's no secret they blow up numbers.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think they had shit to do with Earl and Danny as much as maybe when Aram, and I ain't no big top rank guy or PBC. I ain't loyal to nobody but the fighters. So when the old man said about 2 years ago the pay-per-view model is outdated, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna fall off, and people thought he was crazy. I look at my own pocketbook and I say, you know, I give ESPN $6 a month, and I get to watch these fights, man. Huge fights. And guess what? The show we was on got 3 million and tapped out at 4 million during the main event views. Those views are worth more than I seeing it.
Absolutely.
And what's happening is, and people seeing it and they saying, and now you want me to pay $80, man? I think it's getting phased out just because it can't compete regardless of who the fighters are. We
and on a
know
different level, with modern technology, people don't have to pay for it anymore. I'm sorry, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm one of those people, but I'm just going to say there's other ways to watch it. So why would you pay when you don't have to pay?
So it's better to make affordable service and sign your best fighters, and then do like when we grew up. You know, we got to watch Ray Leonard on ABC and Worldwide Sport. That's why he became a household name, because everybody seen his fights, boxing fans or not. Just somebody watching TV on Sunday got to see Ray Leonard fight somebody. So I think that's what's happening, and I'm not saying they shouldn't bilk it for whatever they can right now, but it looks like pay-per-view has turned into 100,000 is about the best you're gonna get. 150,000.
Well, what about Tyson? He put in 1.6 million purchases at 80 million.
That's Mike Tyson, but you're discounting them reality shit
right,
too.
I was gonna say how much. I was gonna say how much was that to Jake Paul?
Who
Well,
knows?
that, and also people that aren't really boxing heads, but growing up, they remember Mike Tyson.
Very nostalgic fight.
Roy Jones. So they're like, wow, okay, they're getting back in the ring. So people that don't usually watch boxing because of Jake Paul, yes, but also because they knew of these two legends growing up, they were watching it.
What were your thoughts on that fight? Before the fight, were you looking forward to it? Was it nostalgic?
Honestly, I loved them in their era, and I was not crazy about it. Did I watch it? Yes, I did. But was I looking forward to it? Would I have watched it if I was at home? Probably not. I would have been doing something else. But because I was in camp, yeah, I watched it. What else was I going to do? You know, but I wasn't excited about it. And this Jake Paul stuff, you know, yeah, okay, let him make his money, whatever. But what people don't realize is boxing is life or death. You know, when you step in the ring, there is a risk that you may not step out, or you're going to go out on a stretcher and then never come back. You know, so I don't like that these kids, these young kids, are thinking they can do what the Jake Pauls of the world can do. You know, it's scary.
Well, we had I don't know what happened to Coach. He'll come back on here in a second, though. But we posted something on Clay Cloward and calling out Jake Paul, and he seemed to be upset that, you know, he's not taking the sport serious and he's just coming on to collect money, and that he should fight, you know, someone.
Yeah. Well, then let him do it. Let him do his next fight without money. Let him do a charity thing. I mean, he made some money. So if he's really serious and this is really what he wants to do, well, nobody just starts out making all this money like he did. So let him do it the way everybody else did it. If he's really serious and wants to really be taken serious. Personally, I don't take him seriously, but who cares what I think, you know? Because like I said, it's serious, and I take it serious. I've seen some devastating things in
Well,
boxing.
my thought on it is this: he has the time, he has the money, and he has the opportunity to spend 2 years straight in the gym every day. He and in his head, in his mind, he's taking it serious. In his mind, he feels like he's really boxing, and then whether someone calls him out or he calls somebody out, he'll take another celebrity or someone else that is only training on a month's notice, 2 months notice, and then you have something that happened that Saturday night with Nate Robinson. He shouldn't have never been in that ring.
Of course he thinks it's serious. I mean, he's knocking these guys out who don't know one thing about boxing. That's ridiculous.
Right.
Put him in there with a real boxer, like right now, a real boxer, and he doesn't even have to be known. He could be a local guy in a gym.
It doesn't have to
knock him out.
And he doesn't even have to be a professional. Put in someone with an elite amateur. An elite amateur. I think he gets exposed. I mean, he would get exposed. It's not a matter of if he would get exposed.
Absolutely. I wanted to also circle back around too. We were talking about Errol Spence and Crawford. I'm a huge fan of Crawford. The whole team. I know them. Have hung out with them. Have been to the fights. A year ago, I was in New York and for one of Crawford's fights. And so what I wanted to ask you and Coach. Well, Coach is gone, but what do you think about that matchup? Is it ever going to happen in your eyes?
It should. It needs to happen. Listen, I'm a Texas guy, and I'm a huge Errol Spence guy. If there's no secret, I mean, even before we talked about before the accident, we always talked about what his path would look like. But man, I don't know anymore. Terrence is a bad man.
Yes.
And he could do so much. I mean, he can beat you orthodox. He can beat you.
Yes.
And he's mean.
I was just gonna say, and he's mean.
Yeah, I mean, once he decides in his head to for lack of a better phrase, turn that hat backwards.
Yes.
You in trouble.
He's very competitive. I mean, in anything he does. I mean, I've seen him playing, Pac-Man and ping pong, whatever. He doesn't want basketball. He does not want to lose. He will not. He gets angry. Coach mentioned earlier that Earl has a better resume. I agree. But boy, it would be a hell of a fight. And it's like, why? Why does he have a better resume? Do we think that it's because nobody wants to fight Crawford, or Crawford doesn't want to fight certain people, or is it the promotions? I mean, there's always reasons because a fighter wants to fight.
Yeah.
A fighter wants to fight the best. I know it doesn't have anything to do with Bud. He'll fight anybody, literally.
Right. Them boys ain't scared. They're not scared to fight.
Absolutely.
They want to fight. They want to fight. Where does Manny Pacquiao fit in that equation?
I love him. He was like my favorite, boxer back in the day. I mean, I still love him. I think he's great. He's still dangerous. He can still do his thing. But I'm just not excited about those fights with him. And either guy. I'm not. And it's like, are we fighting the guys at the end of their career when we look at some of these resumes? Like,
when we look at BoxRec, we don't ever look at the years. We always just look at the name. So it sometimes could be misleading.
Right.
Man, well, Coach text. He had an emergency he had to attend to. He sends his apologies.
No.
So you said how are we on time? I know you had a session that's coming up.
I have a good 15 minutes.
Perfect.
So whatever you ask away.
So how much longer are you going to be out in Cali?
I will be here. We leave Monday. We're gonna So today, we always do a warm up. We're gonna do some mirroring drills. We're gonna do some tech, and then we might do a little bit of sparring. We just want to take full advantage because we are not able to be in Colorado, and have just like a long camp like we usually would in our home. So we're taking advantage of the opportunity here. And then tomorrow we'll have like a really good conditioning session in the morning. And in the evening, we'll have some fun. We'll play some games.
Nice.
So the kids can, I say kids, I mean, they're all kids to me, some of them in their 30s, but, and then we'll head home Monday and we'll get to be with our families for Christmas and the first part of January. And then we're back on the road and flying around the world.
How is COVID affected? How is COVID affected this whole thing? What do you see that's some of the biggest differences?
There's a lot of differences because obviously the qualifiers for the Olympics were canceled. The Olympics, a lot of tournaments were canceled. We have to get special permission to travel overseas, and we are in a bubble and we are tested. At least twice. Well, for a 2-week camp, we're tested twice. We quarantine when we first get here. We always have to wear a mask, always. We can't be in each other's rooms. And when I say that, like I'm in a suite right now and I have like a living room and a kitchen, a common area. Like nobody can come in and watch tape or anything. We were outside watching, tapes of their sparring. So they're very strict. They want to protect us, and USA Boxing has done a great job. We're all well and healthy,
But how does that affect? Do you think there's an effect there mentally on the fighters?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we check on each other frequently. Mm-hmm. We're texting. We have teamworks, which we're always checking on each other. Like tomorrow, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to take them. We're always outside when we do anything. Take them and play some games outside. We let them walk down to the lake the other day. We just really try to keep their minds okay because everybody comes from different situations, and some people can't be confined and they need other people and stuff like that. So we do have somebody that is on staff, and sports psychology. We have everything that they need. And they can utilize anything. And we coaches, or more than coaches, we love these kids and we'll do whatever they need. So we take good care of each other.
What about back home? How's the COVID affected the home gym?
As far as my gym, it did affect it when we had to be closed, and we had to really text our fighters, our boxers every day and check on them, keep them motivated because depression can set in, anxiety and things like that. We're not experts, but we have family members that have experienced those things. So we really try to do everything we can to keep in contact. And then when we were able to open our gym, we followed all protocol. We always take temperatures. I had a company come in and totally spray it that said, it lasts for 8 months or whatever, but we still sanitize and clean. And we just do the best we can. And so far, thank God, we have not had any incidents in our home gym.
Well, that's great to hear. I know, we're both out of Texas, and we've had our governor state repeatedly that he's not going to lock it down. So hopefully, and then we got the vaccine that's they're supposedly going to authorize for use. So we'll see. We need to get past this. Like you said, there's a lot of vulnerability for people, to fall into that depression, the anxiety.
Yes.
And it's good that you guys and the USA Boxing and even at your home gym that you're proactive as far as reaching out. And we try to be as well, whether it's text messaging or phone calls and letting them know, hey, we're there for them if they need us and whatnot.
Absolutely.
So tonight we got a big night in boxing as well. We got Anthony Joshua fighting, and he's going to be fighting early too. I think around 2 p.m.
Yes.
Then ESPN got about 3 hours of boxing going on, and Shakur Stevenson is going to be fighting in the main event. What's your thoughts on Shakur?
Oh, I think he's fabulous. He's so talented. I was able, I get to see him when he goes to Colorado and he spars some of our guys, and Kay Karoma, who's a great friend and an amazing coach, has done a great job with him. The kid is he's smart, he's talented. He was born for this. He's definitely he's a star, but he's going to be a super duper star.
Yeah, you get that feel from him. He's got that charismatic glow about him,
always smiling, joking around. You know, a lot of people were whenever Crawford had said, you know, he was going to move down to 135. Okay, he's a jokester. He's playing. He and Shakur were feeding into that and like going back and forth. They're like big brother, little brother. You know, and I'm just like, guys, you know, yes, they're super stars, but they're human too. They're gonna joke around and play and this and that. And people were taking all this serious, and I was just like, it was kind of funny.
I love seeing that he was in the corner. Who was a couple of weeks ago? He was working someone's corner.
Well, yes. It was whenever it wasn't Duke. It was it Duke Reagan?
It might have been Duke.
Maybe, yes. And Kay had let him come in and put him in the corner. And I thought that was cool, you know. And there are a lot of boxers who cannot train. And there are a lot of trainers that can't box. That doesn't mean they're not good, whatever. They're good at what they do, but then there are these boxers that can also coach in the corner. And he's one of them. Another one that I've seen is Bud. He intelligent. I mean, they know exactly what to say, you know, and so they're good at both.
They have that eye and that insight and the ability to communicate it.
Absolutely. And your boxer has to trust you. Absolutely.
Well, listen, Christine, it was an absolute pleasure having you on. I wish you continued success. Tell everyone again where they can follow you on Instagram or all the social media pages and YouTube pages.
Absolutely. So everything's the same on YouTube, Pototron Network, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, In the Ring with Christine. I just keep it simple. Please follow me. I follow you back, and I love to you know, to be somebody that supports my local guys and girls and women in boxing. So, you know, let's just keep each other up and help each other be successful.
Absolutely, all good vibes, and it's very true. You do follow back, you do engage, and it's why I think you're one of the many reasons why you're successful. So much continued success. We appreciate you stopping in, and everyone else, make sure you go follow, like, subscribe. Make sure you follow Christine Lopez from In the Ring with Christine. Thank you once again, and we will see you next time. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.